Targets, targets, targets. What are they doing? Why am I so confused? Yeah, don't worry. Those targets aren't yelling at you. They're just indicating things to you. But targets can be confusing, especially the different types. And what am I expecting to see? And so in this video, I'm gonna go and show you some very quick tips on a couple of the most common targets and what you need to think about. And really, honestly, the yellow is good. Embrace the yellow. You'll know what we mean once you get further into the video. Okay, here we are in YNAB, and let's go through some of the targets that are already set up on this budget. The first one we're going to explore is needed for spending. Needed for spending says I want to spend X amount, or I want to assign X amount per month. So in my groceries example, I want to spend $750 maximum this month. But if I have any money left over from the previous month, reduce that. So if I had $300 left over, this month I would only assign $450 because then that would give me my full $750. Now I have my groceries. I can see here I've got my target and I've got that set up monthly, $750 by the end of the month, and I've reached it and I've funded it, but it's got $1,050. But Michelle, I only wanted $750, not $1,050. The reason for that is I assigned this before the month rolled over. So let's pop over to May and see what the target tells me. So in May, you remember when I was saying it'll tell you how much when the month rolls over? So in this case, there's still $391 left in this category, but it hasn't reduced my target yet. It will not do that until May 1st. Then it will do the calculation. So if you like to fund the next month before the rollover, you will get an indicator to fund the entire amount until you'll have extra. Now, there's a really cool way to fix that when you do roll over the month and you've already funded. And so we'll flip back to April and see what we can do. So I had that scenario. I pre-funded $750. So I can do the calculations myself manually, or I can go to this section called Auto Assign, and you'll see here that there's some different options, but you can see it says reduce overfunding $300. So YNAB has said you wanted to have your available total on April 1st to say $750. It said $1,050. You've given $300 more than what you intended. So I can simply click on reduce overfunding and it will magically do those calculations, reduce it from $750 to $450 and move that balance up to the top, and I can use that money to reassign it. One of the things you may want to look at specifically in here is whether you wanted a weekly target or not. If you are doing weekly grocery shops, that may be handy because then it adds the extra week when you have an extra Saturday in the month. So if you click weekly, Sundays, so if you have 5 Sundays, it will automatically account for that. The other place that this target works really well for is stuff like gifts, clothing, things like that that you're going to do the entire year. So you can see on here I have a target needed for spending $200 by December 10th, and I have funded my 20 and I am good to go. I do not need to add more, but in here as well, I have overfunded it by $8.54. I can keep that there, or again, I can reduce that overfunding so that then I have it available for other things. So this is the great flexibility. Other common target you will see is your target savings builder. So these are great for when you need to build up a savings amount, a monthly amount that you want to set aside and eventually spend, or maybe you don't know when you're going to spend it, but you just want to always contribute the same amount regardless every month. And so in this case, I have tenant insurance, $30. I'm going to set that aside every month. And I can do that on different options. So I can say in my education, oh, I want to set aside, so I'm going to create my target and I'm going to say I want to do a monthly savings builder and I want to contribute $25 every month and I'm going to save target, and I have overfunded it, but that's okay. So those are two of the most common targets, and that's why I like focusing on them, because those are pretty much exclusively what I use. So that's why I focus on those. The other big thing with YNAB is rolling with the punches. When it comes to targets, people get very stressed out because you create your plan, but then you have to roll with the punches, which means you have to move money, and then your budget looks like this. You start to see yellow, and that really stresses people out when they first start learning in YNAB, because they're like, what's going on? What have I done? Why is it telling me? So all that the yellow is doing is saying, warning, you gave me a plan and you are not following that plan. That's all it's doing. It's not yelling at you. It's just telling you, you said you want to do something and you didn't quite do it. So you need to go and investigate. So let's look at the electric. So on the electric, it's saying I needed $50 funded by the 15th. So I estimate that my electric bill is $50 and I pay it on the 15th of the month. Now, in this case, my bill was only $45. So I had $5 available that I moved somewhere else. I consciously made a decision to only put $40 in here. Now, I could have had other priorities going on, but I've covered the bill. So I'm going to look at it and I'm going to say, hey, yep, it's good. There'd be a question of why can't you turn off the warning? Well, then it gets into a bunch of logistical, because you could have another warning come up. Maybe the bill comes in early or something happens. So it will be there. It's okay. If you've already looked at it and you said, yep, I am good, I know that, that's what's going to happen. Now, if I look at my cell phone bill here, I can see that I actually took money out of it, that -70 and 0. I haven't funded it, but I also don't have the expense. So maybe something happened. Maybe I got a credit on my bill, and so I don't need the money. I'm going to move it to a higher priority item, but I don't necessarily want to change my target. My target is still valid. That's all it's telling me. So it's okay to have yellow, because the other thing is you can use that to your advantage, because what you can start to do is look through your budget and go backwards and say, okay, is that the category that's always going yellow? Is that the category I'm always taking money out of? Well, maybe then you need to reduce the funding on it and change it to somewhere else. The other thing that you can do over time, once you have been in it for quite a while, is you can start to look at some other options. So let's go back to our groceries. You're gonna look at April, and you're gonna get into this section down here on this auto assign here. And this is really valuable information, because what it'll tell you is how much did I assign last month? How much did I spend last month? What's my average assigned? And that'll be over the past 12 months. This is a rolling 12 month. And what's your average spend? And so you can start to see what eventually you would like to see is average assigned and average spent even out. So even on a yearly goal, so let's make it a little bit easier. Let's say you have a goal of your clothing to be $3,600, which is $300 a month. So in that case, what you would eventually want to see is that the average assigned and the average spent is 300. Now you could be putting 600 this month and 100 that month and $50 this month. Same thing with all your spending, but it'll even it out over time. And so this is where you can also start to do some analysis. If my average spent is 297, but I'm assigning 372, maybe I need to review that and make sure that it's lining up. Hopefully that has helped, and you're not going targets, targets, targets. You're going, yay, targets, love them. They're great, they're fantastic. But they do serve a great purpose. They help you to keep on track with your budget. They can leverage what you want to do versus what you have done, inform your spending, inform how you move through your budget. And so hopefully that has helped. And don't forget to check out this video, wherever it may be. And we will see you again next time.